How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final genocide. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
I was complaining about my hair. Hey guys, you missed me complaining about how my hair looked. It's cool. You didn't miss anything of value. All right. So, I know we were supposed to do Counter-Revolutionary Book Club today, and I really did have the best intentions of doing it. But the thing is I'm tired. And I kind of feel like if I did Counter-Revolutionary Book Club today, I would be phoning it in, because with Counter-Revolutionary Book Club, I actually need to listen to what's going on, because I'm breaking down the content midstream, and we're talking about socialist content here, so it's not always like the easiest content to listen to. And so I thought we've been doing so many spy streams. We've been working hard, man. We already did a spy stream earlier today. We did a spy stream on Monday. We did a spy stream on Tuesday. We've got another spy stream later today. We're going to be doing a spy stream in a couple hours, a Rare Public spy stream. We're doing another spy stream tomorrow. We're doing another spy stream on Monday. We have been doing a lot of extra content lately, okay? So I think that maybe I'm tired. Maybe other people are tired. Maybe we could just take a chill day. And I promise you, Counter-Revolutionary Book Club is going to come back. We preempted it a couple weeks ago for the Institute for Research on Male Supremacism. I feel like we preempted it last week because of another event. I just don't remember what that was, because all the days are blurring together. And I had the full intention of bringing it back this week, but I'm tired. And so we're going to bring it back. It's coming back. Don't worry. And I thought we could just talk. And we are going to talk about some stuff, and there will be some drama. But can we start with kind of like and I'm just going to talk with you guys in the chat, and I have some things I want to share. But before we get into, the annoying shit, can we talk about new Pope? New American Pope? I didn't expect for there to be an American Pope. Like, I feel like this was anyone talking? I mean, I wasn't really following with like papal politics all that closely, but I do like Conclave. I've watched Conclave every time there's been a a conclave in my lifetime. I think it's a really interesting ritual. I think that, I kind of like the mystery of it all. I like that just like the only indicator is this little smoke that comes out of the chimney. I love that all the people are just waiting in bated breath for this moment where the smoke appears. And I thought it went pretty quickly. I mean, it seemed like it was a really quick decision. There was only like one other vote before this, wasn't there? Like, were there any other votes? I was surprised it was that quick. And I thought because it was that quick, I was like, it's going to be the Filipino. Because what I kept hearing about the papal like politics of it was that like the Filipino that was like the far leftist was like out, like he was like a favorite. And I was like, oh man, if it's a quick election, it's gonna be that Filipino leftist. Oh man. And it wasn't. And I feel like it was a dark horse candidate with the American Pope, who's from Chicago, apparently. And, like, listen, now there's like kind of like your astrologer predicted the name Leo. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? I feel like there's like a mad dash now by people on the internet to try to figure out who this guy is because he just wasn't one of the candidates like a lot of people were talking about. And so now there's this massive uproar online. He's woke because of this article he wrote about J.D. Vance. He's woke because of this. He's a Marxist. He's this. He's that. He's the other thing. Listen, here's what I think. And I'm going to do the thing where I go, I'm not a Catholic, but what I'm not going to do is say, I'm not a Catholic, but this is bad for reason X, Y, B, and Z. I kind of think that, like, listen, I'm gonna give my thoughts on this, but I'm not gonna shit on the new Pope. I'm really not in any way. And I think you'll understand why as we kind of get into this. But like it is kind of annoying me that all of these non-Catholics are like, your Pope sucks for reasons X, Y, B, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. First of all, for like American Catholics, I have to think this is actually pretty effing cool. So why are you all of a sudden trying to rain on their parade? This is like the supreme head of their church. And I have to say, this is how you know the Groypers are actually real Catholics. Because the Groypers, of all people, if anyone's going to attack anyone on the internet over nonsense, it's going to be the Groypers, right? But like the Groypers that I've seen are actually like, yeah, they're psyched about this Pope. They're psyched that it's American Pope. They're psyched he's from Chicago. They think he's great. They're already pledging their allegiance to him. And that is exactly what I would expect the Groypers to do, honestly, regardless of who got elected Pope, because they're actually Catholic. And that's just the way it goes. But like all these like non-Catholics that are like complaining and crying and going through every tweet this guy's ever sent and going through, I mean, listen, I know he just became one of the most famous men in the world, like in an instant where no one, and that's got to be a weird feeling, by the way. Can you imagine just being like a cardinal that like no one really knows who you are and probably very few people are paying attention to you, and all of a sudden you're elected Pope? And all of a sudden, you're trotted out on the balcony to become the supreme leader of the Catholic Church. And all of a sudden, in just like an instant, you become one of the most famous people in the world. That's got to be a crazy feeling. Can we just like talk about that for a second? Man. But all these people are complaining. Now, the very first thing I did when I found out who got elected is I kind of tried to figure out what are his actual politics. And I didn't go into his Twitter feed. I just went and did some like AI searches and I said, can you explain to me what this guy's politics are and give both sides and all this stuff. And what I personally found, and I don't know if this differs from anyone else, what I found is that on some issues, this guy is on the left. On some issues, this guy is on the right. Do you know what that makes him? That makes him a moderate. I also found out that one of the reasons that people really like this guy is because he listens very like deeply to people. So like people know that they can give him feedback and he's actually going to listen to them, which means to me, he's taking probably advice from a variety of people around him and talking to people. And he obviously knows how to play politics. I'm sorry, you don't get elected Pope that quickly if you don't know how to play politics. So obviously this is a guy that is well liked, obvious and across the spectrum, because again, he got elected very, 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 very quickly, right? And so I have to, like, from what I saw, apart from all the outrage, what I saw was this guy's a moderate. And I think that he, my understanding is that he has mostly been in Peru. Like, he grew up in the United States. He went to Villanova. He got a math degree from Villanova, by the way. Has anyone seen his old college picture? It's so 70s. It's so fantastic. He had such a 70s yearbook photo. And so I don't know exactly when he became a priest, but then he went to Peru, and I think he spent most of his time in Peru. And I'm sure that that's probably informed a lot of the perspectives that he has. Now, when I looked at his statements around immigration and around George Floyd and stuff like that, I actually didn't see a leftist. I certainly have seen no evidence that he's a Marxist, by the way. That for all the people like that I've seen on Twitter going, he's a woke Marxist, I've literally seen no evidence that he's a Marxist. And you guys know that evidence is something I would like, actual real world hinged into reality evidence. What I have seen is him talking about loving people unconditionally. What I have seen is him talking about praying for people like George Floyd and like immigrants that maybe conservatives don't want those people prayed for whatever reason. What I have seen is him talking about taking care of people. I think it's very easy to misconstrue talking about taking care of immigrants and talking about, justice and fairness and all that stuff with open borders globalist in our environment today, where everyone is so teed off and pissed off about everything. But I really didn't get the sense that he was like an open borders globalist Marxist or any of the nonsense that conservatives are saying. Like, I got the sense that, like, he's lived in South America for a long time. He's seen poverty. Listen, if he lives in Peru, if he ministers in Peru, he has seen poverty. And I think that that's probably informed a lot of his thinking on that. On the other hand, I have seen him talk about how he doesn't want women to be deacons in the church, and I think that's probably a good thing. Listen, if I were ever to become a Christian, and I don't want anyone to get their hopes up, that's not going to happen. But if I ever was going to become a Christian, I would become a Catholic. And the reason I would pick Catholicism is I like the ritual of Catholicism. I like the architecture of it. I like that they've basically held a lot of their traditions where a lot of the other religions have kind of bent to more modern times. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing when it comes to religion and ritual, because ritual, the pageantry, yes, thank you. I love the pageantry of the Catholic Church. And I think it's one of those things, the ritual and the pageantry, I think it gets people into a certain mindset where I trust the commitment of Catholics much more than I trust the commitments of other types of denominations. I think that generally speaking, like, and I say this, I grew up in a Catholic family, and also I did grow up in a Catholic family. Like everyone in my family was a Catholic. Everyone except for me and my brother we were the black sheep of the family because we weren't baptized Catholic. But I did grow up in a Catholic family. I grew up around that. And so it is something I'm also familiar with. I've been to Catholic church many times. I used to joke that I would get smited going into the church, but I have actually been to Catholic church many times. And so the reason I say this is that, yeah, I mean, it's like ritual is important because ritual gets people into a certain headspace. It gets people into a certain mindset. And I think it makes them more open and receptive to, quite frankly, connecting with God. And so I don't even know where I was going with that exactly, but I think that, the whole tradition thing. Okay. So I know he's against like women being deacons, which I think is a good thing. I know that he's kind of like spoken out against like, homosexuality. And you guys know I love the gays on this channel. I have no problem with anyone being gay. I don't care if you're gay. It doesn't matter. The gay men love me and lesbians always want me. I have a lesbian vibe. I know that. I've accepted it. So I have no problem with anyone being gay. But it's also kind of like, I do kind of like that. Like if he wants to uphold that more traditional structure, I'm a fan of that because that means he's not going to get sucked into any other leftist stuff. And I have to say, this quote made me very happy. The promotion of gender ideology is confusing because it seeks to create genders that don't exist. Hey, listen, man. The Pope is the new American Pope is anti-queer. Anti-gender ideology. That's like all I need to know, basically, because I actually have been very worried about the Catholic Church getting queered. I think we started to see some signs under the last Pope that he was starting to let the tentacles of queer theory into the Catholic Church, and I was like, oh, grapers, your Catholic Church is getting queered. And I kind of feel like this Pope isn't going to put up with any of that nonsense. I also think, and this is just purely like esoteric, and I understand that, I really like the look of this Pope. Like, I feel like he has a very calm energy about him. I feel like he has very kind eyes. And I know that's kind of like a weird thing. And I know it's like, you're going to judge the effectiveness of someone based on their eyes. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like what I have right now. I'm going to judge them based on their eyes. I'm going to judge them based on their energy. And just like, I feel like he has a very kind of calm demeanor. I feel like he's someone that I don't know. I feel like like he's trustworthy, you know? Again, this is going to be one of the most like nerve-wracking things that's ever happened in his life. He got elected Pope. He's about to be trotted out onto the balcony and become one of the most famous people in the world. Yeah, Gloria, the eyes are the window to the soul. I feel like he has very kind eyes. I feel like he has a soft, calm presence about him. And I think that's a good thing. So I'm not Catholic, but I like him. I do. I have a good feeling about him. Now, am I going to agree with him on everything? No, probably not. And I'm sure there's probably not a single Catholic in the world that's going to agree with him on everything. But I also know this because you guys know, well, maybe some of you know, I don't know that all of you do. I've been doing these rituals lately that have been designed around learning how to surrender, learning how to give up control, learning how to just stop trying to control every element. Because I don't know if you guys know, I'm a bit of a control freak. And it is something that has been that like, I don't think it serves me. Is like, sometimes it serves me well. Sometimes you have to be a control freak. Okay, I'm not going to share the ritual. You guys have to find your own ritual for giving up control. The ritual is for me. Okay, you guys don't get to know what it is. But what I will say is that, you know, I think that all the if there are Catholics that are freaking out about this, I think everyone just needs to calm down. Because, you know, in something like this, someone, and this is honest to God how I see it, I don't think someone can become Pope if it's not meant to be in a certain respect. I think there's a fair bit of like fate and destiny that is involved with things like this. Just because it's one of those things where it's like, there are so many accidental moments. I bet you if you go through this guy was a mathematician. How did someone with a mathematics degree from Chicago who went to Villanova become Pope? It's kind of like you have so many accidents and twists of fate that have to pile on each other and stack onto each other. And it's kind of like, this is one of the things that I'm kind of like, you know what? Surrender. Give yourself over to God. This is one of those things that you cannot control. Okay? And just breathe and know that, like, listen, if you believe that your church is the one true word of God, or whatever the Catholics believe, then this is your guy, man. This is your guy. And that's just the way it goes. And it's going to be okay. Regardless, it's going to be okay. A lot of people didn't like the last Pope. Well, guess what? Things turned out okay. The last Pope was Pope for a while. He didn't burn down the place. Francis didn't paint queer flags all over the place. Like, the wheels stayed on the wagon. Okay. So give it to God, man. Let go. It's going to be okay. So what do you guys think of the new Pope? I'm just going to look in the chat. Yeah, give him a chance. He's like a grandfather. My mom said he looks like the kind old priest and brothers that she knew when she was a kid in the 50s. Yeah, it's like if I was going to go to church and I was going to talk to a priest, like, he has kind of like that look and that vibe of someone that I feel like I would want to talk to. The Catholics I see are excited. It's the Protestants that are freaking out. Well, this is the thing. It's like I think that if you don't have, this is one of those instances where it's kind of like, if you don't have something nice to say, keep it to yourself. Okay, Protestants. Okay, Baptists. Okay, Unitarian Universalists, or whatever the heck those people are. If you don't have something nice to say, keep it to yourself. He's not your Pope. Let the Catholics have their moment. This is a big deal for the Catholics. You don't always have to ruin everything by making it all about you, Protestants. You can rein it in. Give them a moment to celebrate the election of their new pontiff. Like, come on. This is like going to someone's birthday party and being like, you did this and that other thing, and you forgot to go to the store last week. It's like, why are you ruining someone's birthday? You can complain about the fact that they didn't go do that errand tomorrow. You can complain tomorrow. Let them have a birthday. You don't have to ruin everything. You don't have to make it all about you. He was a cardinal for less than 2 years. Well, that makes it even more crazy then, doesn't it? My impression is that he's intelligent and also compassionate. That's the vibe I get from him too. That's what I thought, that he was good friends with Francis, but that doesn't mean he would do everything that Francis would do. We don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know. Let me see. What are other people saying in the chat? Yeah, I don't know why the Protestants care. Only like 12% of Christian Americans are Catholic. Exactly. Let the Catholics have a moment. All right. New Pope t-shirts with dup. Maybe I will do a new Pope t-shirt. Who knows? I like him. The commentators I was listening to said he picked the name Leo because the last Pope Leo during the Reconstruction era was very pro-family. I like the name Leo. It's like, it has some attitude about it. It's kind of like what I would expect a Catholic Pope to kind of like pick out for a name, or not a Catholic Pope. Obviously the Pope is Catholic. I meant someone from Chicago. I meant like he's from Chicago. I want him to have like a name like Leo, as I just think that actually goes together, right? Michael O'Fallon is freaking out. Well, Michael O'Fallon can put a sock in it and sit down, you know? Let's see. Let's see. Just scrolling through the chat. He is Augustinian, very pro-family and hierarchy. So that's good. Very pro-family, very pro-hierarchy. We like family, we like hierarchy here. And again, I love that it's American. I love that he's American. I just think that that's cool. No one expected to get an American Pope today. Like, I'm really going to be anxious. Has Nick Fuentes said anything about this yet? Let me check his Telegram. Has he posted yet? Oh, he posted something. Has he posted about the new Pope? No, he's posted about Trump. He hasn't posted about new Pope yet. I'm probably being very disrespectful by calling him new Pope, but, you know, I'll ease into the name. I doubt that he considers it bending the knee, though, is the thing. I doubt he considers it bending the knee. Nick was deferential to the last Pope, too. But I do want to know. Oh, he posted about the Pope on X. Let's see what he had to say. Let's see what he had to say. Hang on, let me bring up his Twitter feed. Nick J. Fuentes. Hang on a second. Bing. Hello, Nicholas. Let's see. Catholic Church is the center of the universe. True. The Vicar of Christ on Earth was just chosen minutes ago, and people who aren't even Catholic are screenshotting his old tweets to complain about his opinion on American immigration policy. Sort of missing the point, not even a political debate. You know what? I kind of thought the same thing, right? I was like, why are all these people complaining about his stance on American immigration? I'm sorry, like, does the Pope have a say over American immigration? Does the Pope have a vote over American immigration? I mean, I understand that the president may talk to the Pope for spiritual guidance and stuff like that. Maybe. Probably not that often. But, like, if the Pope doesn't have a vote on American immigration policy, then why do we care what the Pope thinks on American immigration policy? It seems to me that the Pope's job is to be like the shepherd for the Catholic Church, to make sure the church doesn't like fall apart or like, you know, burn down or something like that. Like, the Pope has his hands full with, you know, the billion Catholics in the world. He's not in charge of immigration in any way. He has no say in immigration in America in any way. And so why are all the non-Catholics making it all about a couple of tweets that he sent about loving immigrants and treating immigrants well? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. All of these nonprofit Catholic immigration orgs pay out the vet. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But what I will say is, again, I just think that everyone needs to calm down. I think if you are really a Catholic and you're freaking out about the Pope, maybe can you give it like 24 hours? Maybe can you just like stop and breathe? The guy just got a new outfit. He has to wear all white for the rest of his life now. Can you guys are freaking out about the Pope? Can you imagine how the new Pope is freaking out? He has to move to Rome. He can only wear white for the rest of his life. He now has to get driven around in a Pope mobile. Someone might shoot him. Like, yeah, exactly. Could you imagine wearing white and only white for the rest of your life? He gets to wear a really big hat. I hope he brings back that crown with like the 3 crowns. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I want the old school crown back. The one with the really fuck off big crown with the 3 crowns. Yeah. I think everyone should just relax, okay? The most important question we should be asking right now is not what is the Pope's position on American immigration policy. The most important question that we should be asking right now is, will the new Pope bring back the giant 3 crown hat? That's the most important thing that matters. So that's kind of my opinion on American Pope. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I like him. I think that he has like solid energy. I think he has kind eyes. I think he's like a grandfather type figure. He does kind of remind me, and again, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but just like the vibe kind of reminds me of John Paul II, the one before Benedict, the one that was around for a while before Benedict, the one the only other pope that I ever knew, because that was the one I think I understood when I was younger. And so I am optimistic about the new Pope. I think it's going to be good. And I think everyone should calm down. And not everyone needs to complain about everything. All right? You actually don't want what the Triple Crown represents. I don't care. I don't care, social media comment section. You want to know why? Because the Triple Crown is awesome. I don't agree with a lot of the Catholic Church stuff, but I like the pageantry. And I like the outfits, and I think the more pageantry and the more grandeur, the better. And so bring back the Triple Crown. It looks awesome. Okay? I want him wearing the red shoes. All that stuff. That's the traditional Pope clothing, which Francis had ditched. Could be an early sign. Return to tradition. Yeah. Return to tradition, mother effers. New American Pope in the house. Okay, so that's my opinion on that. That was the big thing that happened today. Do you guys want to talk about drama now? Can we talk about drama? Should we talk about drama for the rest of this? Listen, as we make our way into the drama section of this stream, I just want to remind people, I stream about socialism several days a week. If you have never been to Socialism Saturday, and you come into my chat during the drama portion of this stream and you go, all you ever do is talk about drama, and you've never been to Socialism Saturday, and you've never engaged with any of my other content, and you don't read my Substack, and you've never taken the How to Speak Socialist on demand masterclass, if you can't say that you've done any of these things, I don't care what you have to say. Because to say, you always engage in drama is crazy for anyone that actually consumes my content on a regular basis. Oh, I promise you there will be people who do this. I promise you there will be people who do this. We have done over a dozen spy streams in like the last couple of weeks. You ain't never been to one of those? I don't care about your opinion. You don't get to have an opinion until you show up for the good content. All right? So I want to take you guys back to the other day when Brandon Straka released his attack video on Scott Presler. Now, for some inextricable reason, Brandon Straka has decided to randomly attack Scott Presler. Scott Presler being one of the only conservatives that actually does anything of value. And I don't know, you know what, Trendlin, maybe tomorrow we'll do Tim Pool's trigonometry video. I do need something to watch for tomorrow for like happy hour. And so maybe tomorrow we'll do the Tim Pool trigonometry video. That would actually be a good happy hour, I think. Trendlin, can you remind me of that tomorrow in case I forget? Can you remind me? That would be great. Please. So Brandon Straka obviously had some gay man fight with Scott Presler behind the scenes. I don't know exactly what happened. And quite frankly, I don't actually really care what happened. What I do know is that Brandon, for no apparent reason, came out and attacked Scott Presler and made this whole video saying, Scott Presler never even did anything and it was all lies. And of course, the evidence. Oh, I did want to watch Sargon's video about James Lindsay. That's another one on the list. So, yeah, quit trying to drag MAGA into gay drama, Brandon. So Brandon's position is that Scott Presler has lied about everything he's done and he's never actually done anything. And the evidence that Brandon presented was Scott Presler didn't retweet me and Scott Presler didn't give me credit for any of the things that I did for Scott Presler. Ergo, therefore, Scott Presler's never done anything. I swear to God, this was his evidence. We watched the video the other day. People can go back and they can see it if they want to. Because that was all the evidence that he had. He had no evidence that Scott Presler's never done nothing, okay? Because that's just not true. Scott Presler is out there all the time doing things. Scott Presler's at events. Scott Presler's registering voters. Scott Presler lives and breathes this. Now, it just started raining out so hard. Could there be a situation in which maybe Scott Presler has inflated some numbers? Yeah, maybe he has. Guess what? Just like every other conservative activist in history. And guess what? I don't care. And I don't think other people care either. Sometimes people do that. Either they think they're telling the truth at the time, they get corrected later. Maybe it's an honest mistake. Maybe he really just, wanted to inflate his numbers because he thought it would look better. You know what? I don't care because he's still out there at events. He's still out there registering voters. He's still talking to people all the time. You can see video of him doing all of this stuff. Yeah. That sound you hear? That's the rain. Yeah. So I don't give a fuck if Scott Presler retweets Brandon Straka or not. And in addition to that, my big grievance with this video, and again, you can go back and watch the entire stream I did on it, is that literally almost every single grievance that Brandon Straka had in this video with Scott Presler were things that Brandon Straka has done to me directly. Almost every single thing was projection of things that Brandon did to me. So I don't believe for 1 second that Scott Presler did those things to Brandon. Now, maybe Scott Presler didn't retweet Brandon as much as Brandon would have liked, but that's just tough cookies, bro. That doesn't mean that he never did anything, that he never stood by his friends. It doesn't mean any of that. And when I see someone overtly projecting things that I know they've done, I have to look at them and say, why are you projecting all your bullshit onto someone else? Now, the reason that Brandon Straka has done all those things to me is because of Brandon Straka's piece of shit, walking piece of garbage, human being, best friend, that is Mike Harlow. Now, I don't like talking about Mike Harlow because, quite frankly, he's so far beneath me, I can barely even see him anymore, how high I am above him. But Mike Harlow has been engaged in a years-long harassment campaign against me. Mike Harlow doxed my college boyfriend, who went to prison for something he didn't do, dragged him all over the internet as a private person to get revenge on me. And Mike Harlow, for literally years, has been out there spreading lies and bullshit and lies and bullshit and lies and bullshit and lies and bullshit almost all the time. Constantly. It kind of died down relatively recently this year because I started to believe that Mike Harlow maybe finally understood that no one gives a fuck about his stories anymore. But no, Mike Harlow does not understand that. Mike Harlow seems to think we're still living in the same reality that we were in 2022 when Mike Harlow made the choice to try to harass me, literally with a group of people. There was a group of people that was all in on it, still are all in on it to this day. And their goal was to get me to kill myself. And I know that because I know someone who used to be involved with them, who got kind of roped into their secret Telegram group where, by the way, they were having meetings every Monday to try to figure out new ways to harass me. They were watching every stream I did to try to get clips to use to harass me. They were creating these secret accounts to go all over the internet to try to provoke me so that they could get clips that they could clip out of context to use and harass me. This went on for literally years. They would email every single person they knew was associated with me. They would harass. If they couldn't get to me, they would look for anyone that was connected to me, and they would harass literally every single person that was connected with me. People in my chat, and you're going to see evidence of this, people in my chat understand this. The reason, for those of you who remember Joshua on this channel, the reason that Joshua is no longer on this channel is because of this bullshit. Because they doxed Joshua. They were harassing Joshua constantly. If they couldn't get to me, they went to him. And he finally got sick of it and he said, I'm not doing it anymore, Karlyn. And I understand that. I really do. I really do. And that's not the only person this has happened to over the years, because you got to understand, literally every time I was on someone else's show, there would be a mob of these people going into their DMs saying, do you know this and that and the other thing and blah, 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 blah. And they would have multiple accounts. So it would be like one person with like multiple accounts, all using all of their accounts to go into someone's DM, say, you're talking to Karlyn. Did you know this about Karlyn? That about Karlyn? That, like constantly. And people in my audience that have been around for a while can corroborate this, because they go after people in my chat. They call people that are watching my content sycophants. They call they call them flying monkeys. You're going to see Mike Harlow doing this on this stream. So this was going on for years and years and years and years and years, in which I had these group of people, and Mike Harlow was one of the leaders of this group, that were trying to destroy everything I was doing constantly. Well, it is defamation. Mike Harlow has accused me of being a pedophile, which is a serious crime that he has no evidence for. Do you want to know why I didn't sue Mike Harlow for defamation? Because I did go and talk to lawyers about this. I've talked to the police about this. People think that a defamation lawsuit is easy. It's not easy. Do you want to know why? Do you want to write me a check for $10,000 right now to pay a lawyer for a defamation lawsuit? Because Mike Harlow doesn't have that money. Even if I sue Mike Harlow and I win, and I would win a judgment probably that's far more than $10,000, I know for a fact Mike Harlow doesn't have that money. So now I'm out. Probably much more than $10,000, by the way. But that was just to get started on the lawsuit for defamation. That was just to start. Guess what? I didn't have an extra $10,000 sitting around that I could put towards a defamation lawsuit with pretty much zero hope of that ever being returned to me. So that's why it is extremely expensive to sue someone for defamation, even when, and I would have won. I was not worried about winning. Mike Harlow committed defamation per se against me, just provably. But I didn't have the money to throw it all into a defamation lawsuit when I didn't think I was ever actually going to get a judgment in that regard. And the other thing too is people were like, why didn't you send a cease and desist letter? Do you guys know how much people wanted to charge me to write a cease and desist letter? That was going to be $2,500. And I was not willing to pay the $2,500 for the cease and desist letter and then do a full defamation lawsuit on top of that, because Mike Harlow was never going to stop. So my choice at that point was to grin and bear it and to just hope it went away and to just cross my fingers and to pray that someday people would see through all of the bullshit. And so the entire time this is happening, I keep my head down. I continue to do my job. I continue to build my platform. I continue to do independent journalism that literally no one else is doing to expose the left. I started going undercover at events. We started building up the socialism content. I just kept my head down and I kept working and I kept building content, hoping and praying that someday people would see as a result of the fruits of my work rather than the bullshit that this asshole spread all over the internet. And, you know, I think a lot of people have. In regards to like supporters, I have more supporters now than I ever have had. And I'm so grateful for the support that I have. You guys allow me to do what I do. You allow me to spend all my time researching the left. I right now really feel like I have the best job in the world because I get to spend all my time doing something that I love and am fascinated by that also serves people. And so now it's worked out. But for several years, they were trying to destroy every single thing that I did. And they did it very effectively. They destroyed a lot of things. And they made it impossible for me to do things that I wanted to do, that I had everything I needed to do, but I could not get off the ground because of the constant, never-ending bullshit. So why am I talking about this now? Because I've kind of moved on from all this now. The fact of the matter is people no longer care what Mike Harlow has to say about me. It's like the people that do care already believed him anyway, and probably they're low IQ retards that are not smart enough to follow along with any of the stuff I do now anyway. So I don't mind Mike Harlow convincing the low IQ retards of the world. You can't convince low IQ retards of anything. I don't want low IQ retards in my audience anyway. We have a 100 IQ minimum to be in this audience, and that's for reasons. But I think eventually the smart people started seeing through it, and they started seeing, oh, wait, she's producing all this content. She's got all these clips. She's going undercover at these events. She's still doing all this stuff. She's running classes for people. She's doing all the streams, covering content no one else is watching. At some point, things started to turn. And then after October 7th, things really started to turn. By the way, Mike Harlow is Jewish. Mike Harlow's real name is Michael Bernstein. I'm not telling tales out of school. There are legal documents with his name in it that are publicly available. You can look at one of the lawsuits that Walkaway filed, and it has his legal name in it. So this is public information. I'm not telling anything that I shouldn't be telling. It is publicly available information that Mike Harlow's name is Michael Bernstein, and that Mike Harlow's father is very, 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 very Jewish. Okay? I'm just putting that out there because it's not, I mean, you can decide the relevance of it, but I will say that after October 7th, I think that Mike Harlow and many people in his little classical liberal fake grifting, oh my God, I left the left and I'm a conservative now. By the way, he's not conservative like at all. I know him in real life. By the way, did you guys know that I used to go to events with Mike Harlow where these are walkaway events where Mike Harlow would use the walkaway events to try to fuck conservative straight men? I'm just putting this out there. Many, many, many times I have had conversations with Mike Harlow back when we were doing Walkaway together, in which Mike Harlow explicitly talked about picking up straight conservative men at conservative events because the men that Mike Harlow most likes to fuck are straight conservative men. I'll just put that out there for people who are interested in that sort of thing. So this went on for a long ass time. Now, the reason I bring this up is because when I made this post yesterday or the other day responding to Brandon's "Woe is me, Scott Presler didn't retweet me" video, I explicitly said Brandon Straka did everything that he complained about in that video to me based on the fact that he allowed his best friend to openly harass me for years. And all that needed to happen was for Brandon Straka to make a single private phone call to tell Mike Harlow to cut the shit, and Mike Harlow would have stopped. I promise you. Because the only reason that Mike Harlow did that stuff is because Brandon let him do it. Because Brandon is all that Mike Harlow has. Brandon is the only thing that clings Mike Harlow to even the tiniest bit of relevance. And so I promise you, had Brandon picked up the phone like a real man and called Mike Harlow and said, "Can you just cut this shit out? She went to bat for me after January 6th when no one else did. She did every event I asked her to do. She showed up for me all the time. Can you just cut this shit out and stop?" He would have stopped. Because if Brandon had threatened him, then there's no way that Mike Harlow would have continued on with the years-long harassment campaign. So Brandon can do videos about Scott Presler all he wants and how, woe is me, Scott Presler doesn't retweet me and Scott Presler isn't grateful for me and I always go to bat for my friends. Brandon didn't go to bat for me. I never did anything to Brandon except stand up for him and do his events. So I made that post. And then predictably, Mike Harlow has a massive fuck off meltdown on Twitter last night. I remember a couple years ago when Gays Against Groomers implemented rules of conduct for their ambassadors and Mike Harlow kept breaking them. Yeah, Mike Harlow exposed Gays for Groomers for being a shill grifting op just based on the fact that he just blatantly ignored their rules about harassing people on the internet. Gays Against Groomers didn't do shit. That was how I knew that Gays Against Groomers was corrupt. And oh, lo and behold, I was right. You know, Mitchell, you know what's funny about it? I didn't even read this. I literally didn't even read this. Because you know what? I don't actually care what Mike Harlow has to say. I really don't. Because Mike Harlow has been scamming the same story literally for years. For years. There is, and I knew this, and I haven't read this. I have no idea what this says. But I promise you this. There is nothing new in this story that Mike Harlow hasn't been scamming for years. Reagan, you read it. I read it and it was dumb. The same old stuff. He wrote an essay. So Mike Harlow, to prove that he's not doing this is so fucking long. There is no way I'm reading this. There is no universe in which I'm reading this. I really didn't realize it was this long. Guys, do you think Mike Harlow has feelings about the fact that I openly said that Brandon Straka did everything to me that Brandon is complaining about doing to Scott, that Brandon is complaining about Scott Presler doing to him? Do you think that Mike Harlow has feelings about me correctly pointing out that Mike Harlow has been engaging in a years-long harassment campaign? Yeah, it kind of seems like he's obsessed, doesn't it, Ghost Wolf? Good to see you. I haven't seen you around lately. Where have you been? Kind of seems like he's having some feelings. I didn't even read this. That's how few feelings I had. So we'll come back to this, but I want to show you guys. Without even reading it, all I saw was, oh, look, Mike Harlow's got pictures of me with my college boyfriend. Mike Harlow's got all these screenshots. By the way, who actually, if you're not engaging in a harassment campaign on the internet, do you have screenshots like this lying around of people? Because I'll tell you this, I don't have a file of screenshots on Mike Harlow. If I needed to go back and find screenshots, I could. But I don't have a file of screenshots hanging around on Mike Harlow because I don't care. I don't care. Do normal people who are not engaging in an ongoing, perpetual harassment campaign have screenshots at the ready? And not just screenshots, guys. Not just screenshots. Screenshots that they've edited in Canva. This is any number of screenshots all in one that they've edited in Canva. Look at this. Look at this. Like, he had this all ready to go. Who the fuck has... Look at this. And we'll talk about this. We'll talk about Schools Exposed. We'll talk about Schools Exposed and how Mike Harlow and his friends made it impossible for me to do Schools Exposed when I originally planned to do it. Because this is now their big thing against me. Karlyn grifted all this money. She raised all this money for this Schools Exposed program, and then she never did it. Well, there's reasons that it never got done. There's reasons. And those reasons are ongoing harassment and deplatforming from the group that Mike Harlow was involved in, to the point where I said, this isn't going to work right now. It also had to do with the timing of other things. And quite frankly, in retrospect, it's actually better that it worked out this way than the other way. Because quite frankly, and we'll talk more about this, and there are people in this chat, by the way, who donated a significant amount of money to this, and I'm going to answer for it. Because you're right. There were a lot of people who donated money to this, and it never happened. And I've never really talked about it or given an update because I didn't want to deal with this shit anymore. The reason is that it was made impossible for me to do this stuff based on every single person I was working with constantly getting harassing emails, they got me deplatformed off of multiple things. The constant ongoing bullshit, the constant lies, it just made it really difficult. And so at some point I said, this isn't going to work right now. It's just not going to work. And the other things is that the environment at that time was really changing, where Moms for Liberty basically corrupted the entire space. And that was the other kind of factor that I couldn't predict. It was like Moms for Liberty also made this really difficult because they completely took over the whole space and were just lying to parents all over the place. And it made it really difficult to do this. So it never got done. Now, what I will tell you before we get into more of the story, and I will talk about this a little bit more later, I've never given up on this idea. I'll say this now. I've never actually given up on this idea. I gave up on doing it at that time, but I never gave up on this idea. And one of the things that I have been thinking about in terms of, some of you know, I am now launching my own nonprofit because I can do that now. I have a fiscal sponsor. I have already had a nice long conversation this week about all the insane people on the internet with the fiscal sponsor. The fiscal sponsor is completely prepared to get crazy emails and stuff about me because I had to prepare them because inevitably it'll happen. And so I've already got all that locked down. And one of the things that I have definitely thought about is bringing the Schools Exposed stuff under the nonprofit. And because part of what we're going to be doing in the nonprofit is an archive documenting all the crazy materials that we've collected over the years. And the Schools Exposed materials, which is basically when we were researching school districts, we were teaching people how to research school districts. We have all these materials that I've never done anything with. And so I have absolutely thought about that. More to come on that as we start to think out what this thing is. But just to be really clear, just because something doesn't happen right away doesn't mean it goes away forever. The thing is, and maybe I'll talk about this more right now than I intended to. I'm going to probably address it throughout the stream, but crowdfunding campaigns sometimes take a lot longer than you think they're going to. That is just the chance you take with crowdfunding. And so for all the people in my audience that donated to this, and again, there are some people in the chat who donated a significant amount of money to this. if you are disappointed in this, I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of people who donated to this, it wasn't for this specific project. It was to support what I was doing. It was because they're supporters of what I'm doing at a big picture level. And because I wanted to do this, they supported this. But sometimes crowdfunding campaigns take a while, a lot longer than you think. Sometimes the schedule gets completely effed up. I donated years ago to Stitch and Adam to do their comic. And I thought, do you guys remember this? I donated years ago to Stitch and Adam to get their comic that they were doing. And this was like back in 2021. I literally just got those comics like a month ago. And that was supposed to be done a long ass time ago. And that's just the chance you take. And sometimes crowdfunding campaigns they end up taking a different form. Do you guys remember when Tim Pool raised, what was it, over $1 million for like that scanner thing? Where did that ever go? Well, it took a different form. People donated because they wanted to support Tim. It wasn't necessarily about that project because they wanted to support Tim. So what I will say is I think that I've done a really good job of continuing to teach people about the schools. I've done a really good job of investing the resources I had available to continue exposing the left. And I sure as shit have done more than Mike Harlow. And so if anyone who donated that is disappointed that Schools Exposed didn't get launched in that specific form at that specific time period because it was made impossible for me by people who were constantly harassing me on the internet, get in touch with me, man. I'll refund your money. If that specific thing was the most important thing, get in touch with me and I will refund your money. But I strongly suspect that the people who donated to me, because I'm seeing it in the chat, they donated to support me. It wasn't because of that project necessarily. They donated to support me and what I was doing and what I was building. And for that, I will be grateful to you guys because honestly, I think it ended up taking the best turn that it possibly could have with steering, because at the same time that this was happening, this is when we started getting into the real far left stuff. And I think the turn that needed to be made was digging into the far left stuff. And so money that was donated for this ended up getting put into that. I'll just tell you guys flat out. It just did. And so if you appreciate the work I've done on the far left, it was because of this. Janet says, I donated a little. I'm fine with you using that money for whatever. Grandma Nay says, what you're doing now is more important. I agree, Grandma Nay. I agree. And I will say this too. Part of the Schools Exposed stuff was I was going to help parents figure out how to research their kids' school. If you are a parent that wants to know how to research your kid's school, come and talk to me. I'll teach you how to do it. I have no problem doing that. Did you ever have anyone who donated that reached out to complain? No. Not one single person. Oh, one person complained that I didn't send them their book quickly enough, like an autographed book, and I put it in the mail and sent it out. Because yeah, that took a minute to do. The autograph books took a minute to do. I'm known for that. Sometimes things take time. But that was literally the only complaint I ever got was like, Karlyn, where's my autograph book? Oh, here you go. So literally no one who donated to this has complained. The only people who have complained are people like Mike Harlow. The only people who have complained, if we go into Carrie Smith's Twitter feed, because, of course, Mike Harlow is also friends with Carrie Smith, and we're going to go back to Mike Harlow in a second. Of course, Mike Harlow is also friends with Carrie Smith, best friends. You guys might know Carrie Smith from the Substack that I had to write. This was all happening at the same time period, called Surviving Carrie Smith. This is survivingcarriesmith.substack.com. Carrie Smith is the person that really started all this back at the end of 2020 when Carrie Smith started posting incessantly about me all over social media. The other Jenny says, I think you said I haven't been. I think you mean I haven't been. I'm gonna read this. See. I knew it. I knew the other Jenny. I knew what you meant. So the other Jenny says, personally, I've never been disappointed with whatever you've done. I view the money I've given you as funding your journey, whatever that leads. I'm here for it. Every penny has been an investment in you. Thank you. And yeah. Yeah, it was 150 people who were down for the journey. And I really do mean this, guys. I so appreciate the 150 people who donated to that were down for the journey. Because we've been on a fucking journey, haven't we? And it turned out even better than I thought it was going to. So you guys might know Carrie Smith from survivingcarriesmith.substack.com. This is where I've documented the years-long harassment campaign. Mike Harlow, of course, is also featured in this. You can see, actually, let's see. I wish they had a way to do the. Let's do this instead. We're gonna go back to the beginning of the book. I just want to show you guys something. Okay, so here's the beginning of Surviving Carrie Smith. You got to go bottom up. Here's Mike Harlow. This is when Mike Harlow faked having cancer in order to smear me. This actually happened. Mikey always says, I don't have receipts of this. And you're going to see that. Karlyn doesn't even have proof that I did this. Oh, really? Oh, I don't? Oh, I don't? By the way, Mike Harlow, after the Schools Exposed campaign, tried to get people to give him $10,000 to move to Florida. So I tried to raise money to cover leftist content on the internet. Mike Harlow tried to raise money so he could move to Florida. This is all documented over on the Substack. This is all Mike Harlow tweeting about me, talking about me. This is years ago. I'm not going to go through all this. But what I will say is that you can find all the receipts over on the Substack if you're looking for the receipts. Let's see. So that documented all that stuff that Mikey swore isn't true. Anyway, let's go back to Carrie. So Carrie, yes, the people who donated to the knitting got their knitting. Okay, so that was distributed. Phil can corroborate. Kino can corroborate. He's in the chat right now. I think I saw him earlier. So this is Carrie Smith's Twitter feed today. Carrie, who definitely still isn't obsessed with me, who definitely was never obsessed with me like I said she was. I don't talk about Carrie unless Carrie's talking about me. And even very rarely, even now. So Carrie Smith, because she's totally not obsessed with me, retweeted Mike Harlow's thread. There it is. You can see Carrie Smith retweet. And then Carrie started responding to other people. So, of course, Psycho Frank McCormack has to get involved. Remember, Frank McCormack is off his psychiatric meds. Psycho Frank McCormack says, I thought you did. If you didn't, we can work that out. I'll knit something for you, everyday therapist. If I didn't, call me on it and I will make it right. Okay? Psycho Frank McCormack says, grifter Karlyn Borysenko has finally admitted to pocketing the $20,000 she crowdfunded to teach parents about what their kids are learning in school. That's not just misappropriation, it's fraud. What I said was, it went to supporting the work I'm doing in a different way that ended up still being much more impactful and still covers the schools. And my audience is perfectly happy that they're supporting the only coverage of the far left on the internet that's hinged into reality anyway. So now they're publicly accusing me of fraud. That's nice. That's nice. And of course, Carrie has to respond to it. Anyway, on to her next grift. Anyone remember when she was yelling at her audience to pay her mortgage? One in the chat, if I have ever seriously yelled at my audience to pay my mortgage when it wasn't me making a joke. 2 in the chat, if you think that Carrie's full of shit. Just let me pull my chat. Have I ever yelled at the chat to pay my mortgage when I wasn't making a joke? No, apparently no one felt defrauded. I literally never did that. I don't remember that. Carrie's full of shit. 2 in the chat, 2 in the chat, 2 in the chat. 2. Yeah, Sam made a face at his confusion. Did I ever do that when it wasn't a joke? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. No one remembers that. And by the way, why does Carrie even believe that? Is Carrie sitting around watching my streams all the time because she's fucking obsessed with me? So Carrie had to get in on it too. Because this is all they have, guys. All they have is literally Karlyn didn't execute specifically on a crowdfunding campaign in a certain period of time because we made it impossible for her to. That's all they have. The people who donated to the crowdfunding campaign feel fine. No one has literally no one has ever complained. Many of the people who supported the crowdfunding campaign still literally support my work today. But no, it's Mike Harlow, who has never done anything, and Carrie Smith, who has never done anything, and Psycho Frank McCormack, who has never done anything, that are complaining. So we're going to go through Mike Harlow's tweets in a sec because there's still more I want to show you guys. But since we're on this topic, I just want to make sure that I'm right about this. I want to make sure that Carrie and Mikey and Frank McCormack, because really, if they're calling me a grifter, if Carrie Smith specifically is out there calling me a grifter, then one would hope that Carrie Smith has actually contributed something of value to the world. Because I think it's pretty clear that I have absolutely contributed value to the world. I built a platform that trained people how to fight back against the left. I wrote a book helping people fight back against the left. I started a Substack breaking down leftist ideology, teaching people about the left. I started multiple podcasts teaching people about the left. I create content 6 days a week, almost always teaching people about the left. I have a massive, massive, massive archive of leftist trainings. I have thousands of hours of leftist trainings archived that no one else has. I have spoken at events all over the country. I train hundreds of thousands of people a month across all my platforms. How many books has Mike Harlow written? 0. How many books has Carrie Smith written? 0. How many books has Frank McCormack written? 0. Turns out I make way too much fucking content. And consistently, I have consistently made this content for years and years and years. So let's see what Carrie's done. Carrie has 2 websites listed in her profile. She's also got this civility dinners thing. Let's check in on civility dinners, shall we? Let's check in on that. Nick says, didn't they claim at some point all of us in the chat are really just operating dozens of accounts at the same time? Oh, yeah. They talk about that all the time. They still to this day claim that. They say everyone in my chat is secretly me. Karlyn's the only person I know that could beat a Gen AI machine into content output. Yeah. Well, I use ChatGPT mostly, but I have gamed AI. I have figured that out. So let's check in on civility dinners, one of Carrie's big things, right? Oh, wait, civility dinners hasn't done anything since 2021? Carrie, civility dinners is in your profile. Civility dinners hasn't tweeted since 2021, Carrie. So that didn't work out so well. Let's check out Carrie's website. Now, I'll show you my website. I'll show you my website, which is decodetheleft.com. Let's just compare websites. My website is decodetheleft.com, where the upper menu is looking a little janky right now, but that's okay because we just make the screen a little bit bigger and it looks nice. I have on my website customized reports about the left, stuff teaching people about the left, free events that people can sign up for. We have an events calendar where I've got my spy streams laid out so you guys can come to spy stream or webinars. I've got a whole section of free and low-cost resources on Decode the Left to help teach people about the left. There's all sorts of stuff on this. If people want to know what my background is and the type of content that I've created, I have an archive of just a taste of the journalism that I've done in the past several years. So you can go and see, here are the stories I've covered. Here's the stories I've broken. Might take a minute to load. You can see the coverage, the undercover work I've done, the infiltrations I've done. You can see all that. It's all archived so people can have access to it. That's my website. Okay? Thank you, Sunspot. I appreciate it. Well, I'm not always great at meeting deadlines when I'm multitasking, but I will do a whole bunch of shit at one time and I'll get something done eventually. Judy, of all people, knows this. Judy knows my process is that I set audacious goals, and sometimes I do them exactly like I say I'm going to do them. Sometimes I start doing them and then I take a break and then I come back to them. Sometimes I start doing them and I never finish them, or I come back to them a year or two after the fact. I'm not making that the tie picture. It's not going to happen. Anyway, so that's my website. Let's look at Carrie's website. Because Carrie says that I'm a grifter, yeah? So surely on Carrie Smith's website, there is going to be valuable content that people can use to fight back against the left. Because according to her, I'm the grifter. So where's the content on Carrie's website? Oh, it's just all about Carrie? Carrie's website is all about Carrie and pictures of Carrie and a bio of Carrie. And let's see, does she have resources for former SJWs? Oh, wait, these are just interviews with Carrie. These are literally just interviews that Carrie's done for Carrie's show. Resources, surely there must be something in the resources section that's not just about Carrie. Isn't it weird that Carrie has pictures of herself on the homepage of her website? I think it's weird that Carrie's got deprogrammed on her website right here with Unsafe Space. The reason I think it's weird that Carrie has Unsafe Space on her website, let's see if it's still up. Isn't that funny? Carrie Smith this is Unsafe Space. What a blast from the past. This is all from Unsafe Space. That's how I first met Carrie, was when she was on Unsafe Space. But the thing about that is, hang on, I'm waiting for it to load. Let's just stop that. Okay, now my whole browser is rebelling. Hopefully this is still up. Nothing's loading. Nothing is loading. Why would things load when I need it to? Why? All right, load. Oh my God. Do I need to put it in a different browser? Hang on. This is good. This is important though, because we're making sure. I want to give Carrie every possible opportunity. Let me take this chat. Seriously, Kay turns out a mega fuck ton of content. I shred info and I've never been able to stay caught up with her. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this in another window. Unsafe Space substack.com/defamation. Do I need to put it in a private window for this to load? Why isn't this loading? Do I have so many Chrome windows open? Oh, that's why. That's why it's an SSL certificate issue. I know what's going on now. Continue to the site. All right, while we wait for that to load, and hopefully it does eventually. Actually, you know what? I don't even need that to load. I can just go back here. I can go back here and go to not that, this. Defamation on survivingcarriesmith.substack.com. And we can just go back to the receipts here because it seems like the Unsafe Space website is having an SSL issue right now. She's not respectful. She's a condescending cunt. So the reason I think it's funny that Carrie on her website has an archive of Unsafe Space stuff is because Unsafe Space actually issued a cease and desist letter against Carrie for defaming them after Carrie was fired from Unsafe Space, because Carrie got fired from Unsafe Space because she was obsessed with me. I know this because I talked to Carter about it years after it happened. And Carrie became so obsessed with me that she wanted to use Unsafe Space to cover me. And Carter didn't want to let her. Carter was her co-host at the time, the guy who actually owned Unsafe Space. And so Carrie apparently became so obsessed with me that Carter ended up firing her over it. And after Carter fired her, Carrie started defaming him. And you can see here, that feeling when someone you thought was a friend kicks you out of your moving car, runs you over, reverses to hit you again 6 weeks later, and then gets out of the car to ask you to sign an NDA. So that's when Carrie started defaming him. And this is the evidence of the last show that Carrie was ever on. And then Carrie started going on a defamation campaign against them where she got all her friends to attack Carter, messed up news that Carrie Smith no longer has access to her other channel, except it wasn't her channel. It was Carter's channel. Carrie got fired. So yeah, she no longer had access to it, but Carrie told everyone that Carter stole her YouTube channel from her. And so then Carrie's friends started going and attacking Carter. Here's Carrie saying, he stole my half of the company and fucked me over in other ways. That didn't happen. That wasn't real. And then Carrie announced she had a new channel. And then Carter issued a statement calling our statement regarding certain defamatory claims perpetrated by Karen Jessie Salmolet Smith. She stole my company and tried to strangle me with an NDA and then yelled, "This is MAGA country." And what I was looking for that wouldn't load was there used to be a whole website or a whole page on the Unsafe Space website just about the defamation letter that was sent to Carrie. And you guys can go and read this. There's a whole cease and desist defamation letter that Carter sent to Carrie. So we're not going to go through the whole thing. But what I will say is I think it's kind of funny that Carrie is still using Unsafe Space on her website, because I was assured by Carrie that I was the grifter. Anyway, on to her next grift. What the grift I've been doing for years? Literally the same thing I've been doing for years. What was my next grift, Carrie? Where's your projects? Where's your work? Where's your resources breaking down the left and helping people? Oh, you don't do anything? Let's look at Carrie's YouTube channel just to be sure, because maybe Carrie does a ton of live streams that are just really, really helpful. Let's go to the live stream section. So Carrie's YouTube channel looks to be complaining about things that Carrie doesn't like, talking about the woke right a lot, talking about pop culture and things like that. Are there any resources on this YouTube channel to help people understand and defeat the left? No, it's just Carrie complaining about things she doesn't like. So, I'm the grifter. Like I said, if you're offended that these assholes destroyed my ability to do something that I actually did want to do at the time, reach out to me, man. I will make it right. But since I've literally never gotten a complaint from my audience, I'm going to go ahead and assume that my audience is fine. And we're going to move on with life. The only people who are complaining about me are people like Psycho Frank McCormack, who has never done anything. Let's just open up Frank's profile just to be sure. We're going to get back to Mike Harlow in a second. I promise. This went in a way different order than I thought it would. I'm just complaining right now. So let's see. Frank McCormack, who wants to call me a grifter. Let's go to Frank's website. Surely on Frank's website, he has a massive amount of resources that will help people, right? This launched 4 years ago. His Substack launched 4 years ago. This post is from 2021. It seems that his latest post was from 2022. Hang on a second. I thought that Frank McCormack must be doing something of value if he's out there calling me a grifter. Turns out Frank McCormack hasn't produced any content except reeing and crying and complaining on the internet since 2022. So that's 3 years. Carrie hasn't done anything of value in a really long time. And now to get back to Mike Harlow, let's just start to close some of these windows. We don't need that up anymore. Don't need that. Don't need that. We might still come back to this. Now let's go back to Mike Harlow. Because we're going to go through his little hissy fit rant that he did last night. But first, let's ask ourselves, since we're on this section, has Mike Harlow done anything of value to help people? Has Mike Harlow done anything of value to teach people about the left? Has Mike Harlow done anything at all? Let's see. Okay, well, we have his locals. Now, I'm pretty sure I can't get into his locals, but maybe someone in my audience wants to join Mike Harlow's locals, like right now. Just sign up for a free account in Mike Harlow's locals, and maybe then someone in my audience under like a SOC email account or something like that can tell us if actually, you know what? Fuck it. I have a SOC email account. Fuck it. Hang on. Sign up. I wonder if I can actually already get into this with my Rumble account. Hang on. Let's see if we can get into Mike Harlow's locals, shall we? Let's see if we can get into his locals. I might be blocked is the issue, but if I'm not blocked, let's just see. Oh, actually, log in. What? Oh, yeah, I am blocked on that one. Log out. Let's try this. Continue to locals. No, I'm blocked. I'm blocked from Mike Harlow's locals, but maybe someone wants to join Mike Harlow's locals, and you guys can tell me if he's actually posted any content in there recently. Okay? Karlyn works hard while these other bozos spend their time playing the victim and whining. So true. So true. The most productive grift resulting in more public resources than anyone else. Yeah, I'm going to keep getting your books as gifts for everyone I know. Hey, I appreciate that, Chad Jesus. So I can't get into Mike Harlow's locals because I'm blocked, and I would bet if I got in there, I would find out that he hasn't posted any content in there for a really long time. I can also go to Mike Harlow's YouTube channel, where surely, because Mike Harlow's accusing everyone else of being a grifter on the internet, surely Mike Harlow has created just amazing resources for everyone on his YouTube channel. Let's see. Live streams. So let's see. 3 weeks ago, he did an interview with some guy. A month ago, he did an interview with another guy. It kind of seems as though Mike Harlow's YouTube channel is kind of like a vanity exercise for Mike Harlow to make Mike Harlow look cool. Try to make him look cool. I don't think this looks cool. I've always thought Mike Harlow's stuff was cringy as fuck, but it kind of seems... You're about to send me some screenshots? Oh, good. Sam is going to send me some screenshots of Mike Harlow's locals. Listen, man, I don't see any content on here that isn't just look at me, look at me, look at me. Aren't I great? Look at me. Oh my God, I'm so cool. I have so many friends. I'm so popular. I'm so influential. Oh my God, I'm famous on the internet. I'm a total cloud whore on the internet. That's what Mike Harlow does. He's posting them in the lounge. Okay, hang on. Let me see. Let me get the screenshots up. I got to use another browser for that. We're doing our own little investigation. Mike Harlow wants me to do a schools exposed investigation. I'll do a Mike Harlow exposed investigation. That's going to take a second because Twitter always takes time to load when I'm streaming on the internet. You produce valuable content while he plays the algorithm to boost his ego. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth? Guys, if you're here for the drama content, we are going to be doing a real stream coming up around 8 p.m. It's going to be a spy stream. We're going to be going inside the protest organizing call for the May Day protest. They're doing a debrief tonight, so we're going to find out what their future plans are, which is going to be awesome. Just getting into Twitter so we can see what Sam's screenshots say. Okay. Getting up the screenshots now. Let's look inside Mike Harlow's locals, because surely Mike Harlow has created valuable content in his locals recently. I'm sure that must be the case. Oh, that didn't work at all. Hang on. Sorry, it's taking a little longer than I thought. Everyone just take a break, all right? Yes, so the spy stream will be 8 p.m. here, and it is a rare public spy stream, okay? I don't actually do spy stream content all that often that's publicly available. So our spy stream tonight is actually going to be a public spy stream. So everyone can come. Tomorrow's spy stream will be a supporter-only spy stream. All right, let's see inside. Oh, shit, these are blurry. These are blurry, Sam. Why are they blurry? I cannot see them. I can see that one. Okay, let's see. Open image in new tab. Okay, I got it fixed now. Okay. 1 second. It was because Twitter was opening up the small image size, and now I've got Twitter opening up the larger image size, so it's not blurry anymore. Okay. Hang on. Now, okay, are you guys ready for the big reveal? Here is the content that Mike Harlow has been making in his locals while accusing me of being a grifter. Okay. So the last post in Mike Harlow's locals seems to be from March 7th, 2025, and it's a movie night post. It kind of seems like the only thing Mike Harlow does in his locals is movie night. Yep, they're doing movie night. Listen, we do movie night in my community, so I have no problem with movie night. But it kind of seems like all Mike Harlow has done in his locals for the last year has been movie night. Here's him doing a movie night with someone who, this is the person who actually doxed my college boyfriend and gave the information to Mike Harlow. We don't talk about him because he's a raging narcissist who has basically fucked his entire online persona by being obsessed with me. And so he's not relevant anymore. We don't really talk about him. But you can see here, this is from Mike Harlow's locals because they did movie night together. So movie night and movie night and movie night and movie night and movie night, but no actual real content. Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. Yes. Mike Harlow is producing hard-hitting journalism. I spent 4 days watching the Institute for Research into Male Supremacism. I exposed a sitting congresswoman for telling a group of radical activists to harass politicians in public. I exposed the vice president of the Chicago Teachers Union for calling to abolish the Constitution and organizing massive protests. And that's all been in the last couple weeks. Mike Harlow has been doing nothing. Nothing at all. Carrie's website is dead, has zero traffic. Her Substack is hardly active. She does a little content on YouTube. And these people are calling me a grifter. See, now people are starting to realize the point. So now that we have confirmed that Psycho Frank McCormack hasn't done anything in years, the good Christian Carrie Smith hasn't done anything in years, and the fame whore Mike Harlow hasn't done anything for years, let's now go to Mikey's post about me, because Mikey's been making a lot of posts about me. This is his number one post, and we're actually going to go back. We're going to go into my response. Because I didn't originally read his post. All I did was respond to his post. And so Mike Harlow is proving that he's definitely not harassing me on the internet. To bring us back to where we started, Mike Harlow is proving to everyone that he's definitely not engaging in a years-long harassment campaign approved and condoned by Brandon Straka by putting a massive essay about me out last night in which he worked out all of his feelings on the internet to the point where it was so long, I didn't even bother to read it. Okay? So I responded and I said, and there he is, like clockwork, Brandon Straka's Jewish best friend, Mike Harlow, continuing a harassment campaign he's been running since 2022 because he was jealous I had more followers. Harlow does nothing, accomplishes nothing. He only does this, supported by Brandon. Luckily for me, he's cried so much and literally has nothing new to say. And now he exposes himself and Brandon for the liars they are. Brandon could have stopped this at any time and he refused to. So Harlow continues to because this is all he has in his pathetic, worthless life. Yes. Basically, I was gang stalked and gang attacked by this group of psychopaths for years on end. And they're still doing it today. You guys see this, like every crazy thing you guys see on the internet about me comes from these people. Literally every lie that's ever been told about me comes from these people. Every rumor, every smear, every person that goes, isn't she a pedophile? It comes from these people. They've been doing it for years. They're probably all watching right now. Everyone wave. So then Mike Harlow responded to me. And Mike Harlow said, ha ha ha, sharing all the evidence of your own lies. Your ability to cell phone as always brings a smile to my face. Must be the Jews. Well, Mike Harlow is literally Jewish. Ah, Karlyn, you've come so far from your days of falsely accusing me of white supremacy and anti-Semitism. Oh yeah? Where'd all that money go that you crowdfunded? Well, as I explained earlier, when you're dealing with a mob of psychotic bullshit artists online, and those psychotic bullshit artists are trying to destroy every single thing that you do at all times, it makes it really difficult. Let me tell you what. So I said, keep crying, you pathetic piece of garbage. I'll simply use it to show everyone that you and Brandon are exactly who I say you are. And I'm so sorry no one cares about your story. So where did the money go, Karlyn? Where did the money go? Where did the money go? Where did the money go? Again, no one who donated to the campaign is upset. Many of the people who donated to the campaign are my supporters to this day. No one who was actually involved complained because they knew that it actually did get put to good use. And they also now know that I was thinking of bringing it back under the nonprofit anyway. It just happened way later because I had to move beyond all of this harassing bullshit. Where did the money go? Where did the money go? Where did the money go? Mikey, you tried to raise money to get people to pay you to move. When you've put out as much content as I've put out about the far left, then you can fucking talk. Do you know what the money went to, Mikey? It went to doing actual journalism. That's what it went to. This is one of their sock accounts. We're not going to talk about that person. And I just said, I didn't even read what he said. I said, oh, you're crying with the same old story. Where did the money go? 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 It's all they have. It's literally all they have. And now everyone knows and is very clear that back when I did that crowdfunding campaign, these assholes basically destroyed my ability to be able to do what I wanted to do because they harassed everyone they possibly could that was associated with me. They got me deplatformed off of multiple sites, and I couldn't make it work at the time. And it actually turned out to be for the best. Money well spent. No complaints here, little Mikey. See, Mikey, no one who actually donated to the campaign cares. And again, if you did donate to the campaign and you're like, Karlyn, you basically wasted all my money, get in touch with me, man. I'll make it right. Or if you didn't get a perk, get in touch with me and we'll work it out. I have no issue with that at all. That's their favorite tactic to use. They twist words into lies. Anyone who does research knows what they say is BS. Reagan donated a significant amount of money to the campaign, and I know that was a big deal for Reagan when she did it. And Reagan has still supported my work because she knows what's going on and she knows what we're doing, and she's one of the most supportive people in my community. So if Reagan isn't pissed off, then Mike Harlow, who has never done anything, has nothing to fucking say about it. So I said, it's supporting my work in different ways, blah, blah, blah. Exactly what I said. Oh, so where's the money, Karlyn? Where's the money? 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 That's all he has. And he has all these screenshots at the ready because Mike Harlow has a file of screenshots on me that he saves to trot out anytime he wants to publicly harass me on the internet. Imagine if Mike Harlow put as much effort into something productive as he does lying about me and crying about me and making screenshots about me and making clips about me and watching all my content and obsessing about me and complaining about the fact that a crowdfunding campaign didn't work out in exactly the way people thought it would, but actually transformed into something better that was way, way, way better and superior to what it was supposed to be the first time. Oh, look, more lies. Blah, 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 blah. Can't you just answer a simple question? No. The reason I can't answer a simple question, Mikey, is we don't engage in conversation with intellectually dishonest shills. Do you look at these screenshots? I just want to say, like, look at this. These are screenshots from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are at least 5 different times that he took these screenshots. This was back, I think, in 2022. This was probably in 2020, 2021. So, and you can tell when they took the screenshots because of what profile picture I have. So this was the profile picture I had in like 2020, 2021. This was probably in 2022. This is current. This was last year. This was also last year. They literally have 5 different screenshots of me in terms of like the profile photo, which means this is a collection of screenshots that they've been collecting and expanding over the course of probably 4 to 5 years. Just at the ready, filed all away so that he can pull out the screenshots that he needs to harass me at any given moment and put together little things like this, because this is what he spends their time doing. And I just said, cry, cry, cry. And then I retweeted him at one point and I said, because this is what Mikey hasn't contended with. See, in the pre-October 7th era, we were in a different world. In the pre-October 7th era, it would have been a lot more toxic to say, you're associated with Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. But now, things have changed. People are starting to wake up. God knows I woke up after October 7th to a lot of things that I didn't see before October 7th. And Nick Fuentes was one of the reasons I did. And so it's a little bit different today to be associated with Nick Fuentes and the Groypers than it was but a couple short years ago. Now, Mike Harlow, because he's not very smart, hasn't figured out that maybe actual conservatives and maybe actual right-wingers are sick of this gay clout-chasing bullshit. And again, I say gay respectfully. I have a lot of gays on my channel. I don't have any problem with the gays. But you know what I do find a little bit bizarre? I find it a little bit bizarre that there are all these gay Republicans who quite literally develop entire internet personas around being gay Republicans. And that's their entire personality. They're like, I'm gay, I voted for Trump. I'm gay, I voted for Trump, and therefore you should like me and follow me and give me money because I'm gay and I voted for Trump. It's bizarre. It's like, do you have anything more to offer than being gay and voting for Trump? I mean, I know in Mike Harlow's case, like I said earlier, Mike Harlow goes to conservative events to try to pick up conservative straight men to fuck them. So maybe he's offering that. Mike Harlow is literally offering his cock to all the conservative straight men to try to turn them gay. He used to talk about this openly. SocialBlade YouTube statistics. Carrie Smith created January 2018, 20,000 subs, 950,000 views, 500 vids. Karlyn created I didn't actually really start using it until 2020, but March 2018, sure. 102,000 subs, 16 million views, I've created almost 3,000 videos. Are you shitting me? Carrie wants to call me a grifter. Hey, Carrie, maybe get 1 million views on your YouTube channel before you start to run your fucking mouth. So I said, basically, like, imagine thinking it's more embarrassing to be associated with Nick Fuentes and the Groypers than it is to be associated with Jewish gays pretending to be conservatives for clout. Yeah, can you give me Mike Harlow's stats? Because I'm sure they're great. I'm sure with all the valuable content he's created for people, because he's definitely not a grifter on the internet, I'm sure his stats are amazing. Mike Harlow says, I'm just asking for clarity. Bah, 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 bah. Anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. Bah, 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 bah. Same old screenshots, because he always has to have the screenshots. And I said, blah, keep asking. I'm not going to engage with you, but keep replying because you're putting money in my pocket every time you do. Oh, like that money you scammed, like that money you scammed, like that money you scammed. Well, no one feels scammed, bro, so. And I pointed out he's telling the same story year after year. And then he said, why would you want to kill yourself? I don't know, Mikey. Maybe because you were involved with a group of people whose stated goal was to harass me until I killed myself. That was literally their goal. For people who don't know the story, I know someone, I think I started to tell this story earlier and I stopped. I know someone who got involved with them. They were having weekly meetings trying to figure out how to harass me. This is the worst possible stream for you to jump in on if you're new. Just so you know, guys, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot found us because of the Bigfoot show we did the other day. I'm just warning you. This is like the worst possible time for a new person to show up. You're welcome here. You're welcome to hang out. But we're doing kind of a drama stream today, and I don't want to scare you off. I just want you to know that we don't do this all the time, and this is a really bad reflection for new people. Mike Harlow's YouTube channel created 2014, 10,000 subscribers, not even 500,000 views, 183 videos, no content, no traction. But I'm the grifter. I'm the grifter with 16 million views, almost 3,000 videos. Really shitty performance, Mikey. Really just like very impressive. I didn't even know about I didn't even know Karlyn had a YouTube. I found her on Rumble. Loved her rant about the Jews. Thank you. So back to this. Mikey is pretending, Karlyn, I don't know why you wanted to kill yourself. Well, someone that was working with them to harass me defected and came to talk to me, very apologetic, and told me that when he asked them, when are you going to stop harassing Karlyn? The answer was, when she is dead. That is what they were saying to each other when they were at the height of their harassment campaign. That's very real. I've talked about this many times on this channel. These assholes, these grifting, do nothing assholes, literally were having weekly meetings where they worked together, got all these screenshots, got all these clips, sent out all these emails and DMs to people trying to smear me. Their stated goal was to harass me until I was dead. And they almost succeeded because they gave me a nervous breakdown and I really thought about killing myself for a while. That was because of their bullshit. Thankfully, I got through it. Here we are. No one's suicidal anymore. No one get freaked out or nothing. But that's how bad it got. So they keep calling me a scammer, and yet you have no scam victims. How does that work? That's a really great question. I have 0 scam victims. Everyone's perfectly happy to support my work. The only people complaining are these assholes who don't do anything. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something really specific. Oh, where was it? Where did he put it? I'm going to have to go into his replies to find it. Let me go into his replies. Because there was one point where Mike Harlow tweeted directly to people in my chat. Oh, look, they're talking about me right now. Look, they're talking about me right now. Poetry painter who is a psycho that's obsessed with me. Everyone wave to the 500-pound fat ass that's poetry painter. Everyone wave. Do you guys want a reminder of what poetry painter looks like? Do you guys want to I know that, you know, it's a very traumatic thing to see what poetry painter looks like. Yeah, the most successful thing that Mike Harlow has ever done in his life is smearing me. This is how I found you. Mike Harlow's The Truth About Karlyn video kept showing up in the algorithm. I watched most of it and then popped over to see how I really was, and that happens all the time. Let me see. Let me just remind people what poetry painter looks like in real life, just so we know what we're talking about. And this is not a tale out of school. This picture used to be public on her public Facebook page, of which I have evidence that this was a publicly posted photo on her public Facebook page. I just need to wait a sec to download it because it's loading. Can I just download this, though? Can I literally just download it, Canva? Can I just download it? Nope, don't do that. Don't do that. Just want to download this. Download. Sorry, guys. My computer runs super slow when I'm streaming because I have too many things open on my desktop. We're almost there. You guys are going to love this. Let's see what poetry painter looks like in real life. Meet the 500-pound shut-in fat ass that is poetry painter. Yep, Mizakan likes to call her Jilba the Hutt. This woman sits around obsessing about me all day. She was part of the little group that was stalking me. So she's watching right now. I want everyone to tell her what you think of her. Yep, nice moo-moo, I know. Yep. Mizakan sent me something. I want to see what he sent. I'm not going to show that meme because this is a real photo. This is not a photo that I edited. Well, I took, there were children in this photo and I did take the children out of the photo because we don't want to put kids on the, yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. These are the people who call me fat. Yep. So she's watching right now. They're still going on about me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, this is so funny. This is the proof that Mike Harlow has. Hang on. This is the proof that Mike Harlow sent me last night to show me that he was oh so successful in life. This right here. I must have had some pretty good karma then. This is my life. I guess standing up to bullies and pathological liars does that. Enjoy raging. This is the proof that Mike Harlow is successful in life. First off, does he even look comfortable? He looks like he's fucking constipated. In every photo he takes, he looks fucking constipated. He's in some pool that's probably at a shitty apartment complex where he lives in an apartment with like 3 other people. He has no relationships to speak of. I've been married for it'll be 14 years in November. Mike Harlow has no relationships, no romantic interest. No one wants to date him. He's obsessed with fucking conservative straight men at conservative events, hanging out in the pool with a floaty in an apartment complex in Florida. This looks like one of those pools. Yeah, this is like a pool from like an Airbnb or something. And not even like a really great Airbnb, like an average Florida Airbnb. And listen, no shade on people who have pools like this, but this is not Mike Harlow's pool. Everyone understands that, right? This is some Airbnb that he stayed in, or this is some shitty apartment complex that he's living in. But yeah, Mikey, You're showing you're so successful on the internet, where you have no relationships, you make no content, you do nothing of value, but you've got a photo in a pool where you look constipated and the water looks dirty and it doesn't even look that appealing. But that's not even what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something very specific because he actually tweeted at my chat last night. And I want to find the tweet where he sent the chat. I know I put this in the Twitter, but... Oh, here it is. Here it is. He talked to you guys last night. Brainwashed sycophants in Karlyn's YouTube chat. I'm talking to you. Why can't she provide any evidence of her claims? I provided no evidence? Oh, yeah? I provided no evidence, Mikey? I wrote a whole fucking chapter about you. I literally wrote a whole fucking chapter about you. No evidence? Let's see. Which chapter was it? Which chapter was it? I even forget which chapter it was. Is it this one? This one. If people want evidence of Mike Harlow faking that he had cancer in order to smear me, there you go. It's on survivingcarriesmith.substack.com. The title of the chapter is Chapter 6, Carrie Smith's Walkaway Revenge. And you will find evidence of Mike Harlow trying to raise $10,000 to get people to pay his moving expenses. You'll find evidence of Mike Harlow generally engaging like an unhinged fucking lunatic about me for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. These are all screenshots that he sent about me, complaining about me, lying about me, all this stuff to try to get people to attack me and get people to mob me. He did an entire fucking video about me that is literally the most successful video that Mike Harlow's ever done. Is about me. The most successful piece of content that he's ever created is about me. On and on and on and on and on. These are all tweets that he's sent about me. Every single one of them are tweets that he sent about me. Making videos calling me a pathological liar with clips out of context. Making memes about me. So everyone is welcome to go and see the receipts. It's very, very clear. You can go look up these tweets on his profile. They're still there. We're still going. This is all stuff Mike Harlow said about me in like one single... Oh, here, is this the cancer thing? Here it is. Mike Harlow says I have no evidence of this. For anyone wondering, February 12th, what was this? Probably 2022? February 12th. For anyone wondering, I'm going through tests to find out if I have cancer. What I would love is for it to be left alone by this ham beast. You don't wish anyone well. You've been smearing my name for a year. Take your fake well wishes and shove them up your copious ass. Get a hobby. I find that really funny since he complains about me all the fucking time. So Mike Harlow literally told his audience, which you can see on the screen right here. I'll make this even bigger. For anyone wondering, I'm going through tests to find out if I have cancer. Now, do you guys remember back here when Mike Harlow started responding to me? One of the things he said was, you told people I lied about having cancer. Do you have any receipts that I told people that I lied about having cancer? Let's see if we can find it. I know he said it somewhere. He probably said it in his big, long essay of a post about me. Let's see. The lying about... Okay, so I'm not going to go back and try to find that right now. I just want everyone to know that every single time that Mike Harlow says I don't have receipts about him lying about having cancer, Did he say he had cancer? No, maybe not specifically, but he said he was getting tests to find out if he had cancer. So he was still pretending that something was seriously wrong with him and that I wasn't treated because he was seriously ill. And he obviously had cancer, and go and attack her. Well, his audience did attack me. All these people, look at all these people who seem to think that Mike Harlow had cancer and that I was just a horrible, vile person for pointing out that Mike Harlow did not actually have cancer. Look, cancer sucks, Mikey. She has a dark soul. This is so sick. No, this is because I pointed out correctly that Mike Harlow did not have cancer. He had pre-cancer. Yeah, exactly. Mike Harlow had pre-cancer, but all these people came to attack me. I really hope it's not cancer. Fuck that bitch, Mikey. You can't have cancer. He never had cancer. He faked having cancer. And so then a week later I said, hey, Mikey posted that he was getting tested for cancer a week ago. Have the tests come back yet? He first posted he was sick over a week ago in his locals as an explanation about, oh, this was the thing. The reason I knew about this is Mikey posted in his locals that the reason that he wasn't creating content was because he was seriously ill and it was probably cancer. So not only did he lie about possibly having cancer, he actually used it as an excuse for why he wasn't making content for people who were paying him to make content. So, did he have cancer? She's in my locals. Oh no. So I posted again. Well, it's been over a month since Mike Harlow pretended to have cancer. Have we gotten a diagnosis yet that Mike Harlow had cancer? I can't believe I still have to respond to this psycho. She's saying I don't have health problems. Mikey, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone with a working brain that you made an excuse because you weren't creating content that people were paying you to create. And you said, I can't possibly create content right now because I'm getting tested for cancer. And then when I called you out on it and said, I don't think he has fucking cancer. I don't think there's any proof at all that he has cancer. You then said, Karlyn is attacking me and I'm horribly sick and I'm getting tested for cancer. And then the results never came back. And I asked again, does he have cancer? I can't believe she's coming at me. I have cancer. A month later, hey, has Mikey given any update on that cancer test that he allegedly took a month ago? I can't believe she's still doing this to me. Maybe had Mikey ever posted an update about, hey guys, good news, the cancer results came back and I don't actually have cancer. How do tests prevent someone from making stuff up? That excuse doesn't even, yeah. How does having a test prevent you from making content though, Mikey, is my question. This was all a long time ago. This is all the memories are coming back now. Oh my God, I forgot about this. We're really going into the archive here. And then a funny thing happened. Mike Harlow proactively messaged one of my supporters privately to trash talk me to try to get him to turn from me. So this is a message that Mike Harlow sent to one of my supporters because this particular supporter was gay and Mike Harlow thought he could bond with this person over both of them being gay and he could turn them against me. Dude, someone just sent me a clip. This woman is now on a stream falsely accusing me of faking a medical condition. Well, I think you guys have seen the receipts that he said he was being tested for cancer. falsely accusing me of faking a medical condition I have, which she previously claimed was cancer. I never said it was cancer. He literally did say it was cancer. And I don't know that it is. And me faking cancer, honestly, I need to know, how do people support this monster? I don't get it at all. This is fucking vile. Sorry, you sound like a reasonable person. I appreciated your tweet, so thank you. It's not your problem. I just don't understand how people are okay with what she does. So that's an example of Mikey actually trying to slide into someone's DMs to turn them against me. But in this case, it was pretty clear that Mikey was very clear that he was going through tests to find out if he had cancer. And then a month later, when I said, did the cancer test ever come back? I can't believe you're still tweeting about me. Well, Mikey, this was years ago. This was literally years ago, Mikey. This was literally years ago. And you are still tweeting about me today. Oh, look. Look, Mikey has another message for you guys. Is everyone ready to hear from him? Look, Mikey's tweeting at the chat right now. I would like everyone in the chat we're going to read everything that he says. And we're going to respond to him live. To Karlyn's brainwashed sycophants. Remember, I'm still offering a $10,000 reward for anyone who can provide me one single piece of evidence of just one of her claims about me. If you guys want evidence, if you guys want to go claim that reward, which, by the way, Mike Harlow does not have $10,000. Mike Harlow basically was cut off by his parents and basically has never really had a job and shares an apartment with like 3 different people, and he doesn't have $10,000. But if you want to send him receipts to try to claim the prize, the check that will never materialize, here's the website. You can find the receipts there. And if anyone ever claims that prize, listen, I would highly encourage my supporters to go and take the cancer screenshot and send it to him and see if he actually sends the $10,000. And if he sends one of you guys $10,000, I hope you consider supporting the work I'm doing with it, or just buying something nice for yourself, or going on a vacation, or having a really good time. But maybe you can support my work too, since I did put all the receipts together. But maybe you can also just have fun with it. And I would wish you very well. You can pick which one. It could be me doxing people. Well, he provably doxed people. It's still on his Twitter to this day. It could be me claiming to have cancer. Right there. There's a screenshot. Well, not that one. Not that one. That was later. That was a month. There's a screenshot. There it is. Right there. There it is. Right there. It could be me being anti-Semitic and baby. Just pick one screenshot and it's yours. This should be easy money if she's telling you the truth. And if you can't do that, maybe now would be a good time to realize you've been lied to by a pathological liar who makes shit up to defame people. It's almost like he's been saying exactly the same thing for 4 years. It's all, yeah. See, this is what I said to him. I was like, hey, Mikey, can you put that $10,000 in an escrow account, please? Because he's been doing this a long time. Every time I say, hey, I'll show you the receipts for $10,000. Can you put that in an escrow account, please? Can you prove to us that you have $10,000? Because I don't think you have $10,000. So if you do have $10,000, put it in an escrow account. And that way, Mikey, you get the money back if no one claims it. But you can't do that because you don't have $10,000. But that's not even the post I was going to talk about. Because this, for the person saying, all I ever do is talk about him, all I ever do is tweet about him, I am obsessed with him, I talk about him all the time. It's not like I don't have mountains and mountains and mountains of screenshots of tweets he sent about me. It's not like he wrote a 5-page fucking essay about me just last night that we're not going to read. It's not like we can't go into his Twitter feed and see that literally everything on his Twitter feed right now is probably about me. If you go on my Twitter feed, let's go on my Twitter feed. Let's go on my Twitter feed right now. If you go on my Twitter feed, we'll go into the replies, which is what you should always do. I tweeted about public school educators changing language to hide the fact that they're teaching DEI. This is the stream for today. I've tweeted quite a bit about the Pope today. There's more tweets. Oh, apparently Trump and Netanyahu have broken up, which is actually pretty great. Can we just acknowledge that? Like, Trump finally breaking up with Netanyahu is like a really good moment. I tweeted about that today. I tweeted about why queer Marxists use BDSM. Lots of tweets about the Pope. I tweeted, Helen Pluckrose has figured out that liberals were always woke. I think that that's pretty entertaining. We're going to watch that Sargon video tomorrow. Again, posting actual stuff from actual journalism. I posted about the spy stream that we did earlier. We've already done a productive stream today. I posted about this guy playing the flute at Conclave. Look at how serious this guy is playing the flute. I just think it takes a very masculine man, not only to wear an outfit like that, but to look so locked in and focused and deadly serious about playing the flute. I think the flute is a beautiful instrument, don't get me wrong. It's just that you don't see men often look that serious and that kind of commanding playing a fucking fiddly flute. But good for him. You know, he's in the Vatican band or whatever. Let's see. Just talking to people, whatever. Not tweeting about Mike Harlow all the time. Tweeting about leftist protest stuff. A lot of Pope talk. Oh, apparently James Lindsay has gotten something published in the Atlantic or something like that about the woke right. Tweeted about that. So on my Twitter feed, you don't see a whole lot of stuff about Mike Harlow, do you? Not a lot of stuff about Mike Harlow on my Twitter feed. Apparently, though, I tweeted about, do you guys know, I bought a painting from Create years ago for like $8,000, and it was the most I've ever spent on a painting by far. And I was so like, do I really want to spend $8,000 on a painting? But it's a beautiful painting, and I love it. And it's a huge painting. Create now. He sold it for $8,000 when I bought it years ago. He is now selling paintings for $85,000. So can I just say, art collecting win? I'm pretty sure I could get at least 4 or 5 times the amount I paid for that painting back now if I sold it, but I'm not going to sell it because I love that painting so much. It's awesome. It's an astronaut. It's got all my favorite colors in it. But I don't see a lot of stuff about Mike Harlow on my Twitter feed. Let's go back to Mike Harlow's Twitter feed. We'll refresh it just to be sure. And this is the last thing we're going to do because we got to start up Spy Stream. I'm talking too much. I'm losing my voice. Okay, now let's look at Mike Harlow's Twitter feed where he says he definitely isn't obsessed with me. This is about me. Oh, one of my supporters is responding to him. Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you about your cancer diagnosis from about, 3 years ago? Are you okay? Did you have emotional support? I truly admire your spirit. This is Kenneth. As shown in the amazing pool pic you posted, you are awesome. Thank you. I agree. I'm pretty awesome. What cancer diagnosis? See? Look at this. He's still fucking lying. Mike Harlow. For anyone wondering, I'm going through tests to find out if I have cancer. What cancer diagnosis? The one you never got because you made it up. Yep, me being right again. All you have to do is show one screenshot of an imaginary cancer diagnosis. No one ever said cancer diagnosis, Mikey. No one ever said that. What I said is that you made people think you had cancer in order to make them feel sorry for you so they would attack me, which is exactly what you did. And again, anyone with a working brain can see that's exactly what happened. Tweeting about me. She's a lunatic. Responding to me, pretending that he's got this amazing life in some shitty pool in an Airbnb. Mikey, you're just amazing. This is about me. This is responding to me. This is responding to me. Me. This is all he's tweeting about. Me. This is his Twitter account. I didn't make this stuff up. Me. This person got Gays Against Groomers to falsely doctor evidence to give to her parole officer, by the way. This person literally got Gays Against Groomers to falsify evidence that she had to turn into her parole officer. I have evidence of that. Me. Oh, look, more me. Tweeting about me. All that's on his Twitter account is about me. Pretending I scammed people when no one felt scammed. Literally no one felt scammed. Oh, and now we're past it. So, Mikey, that seems to be a whole lot of tweets about me and a whole lot of tweets about nothing else but me. Whereas we just want you to go away, bro. We just want you to go away. We all know exactly what you are. You are a walking piece of human garbage that has never done anything in your life. The most successful thing you've ever done in your life, Mikey, is running a smear campaign and harassing me for years. The most successful video that you've ever made was harassing me. The most successful tweet that you've ever sent is doxing my college boyfriend, a private person who went to jail for something he didn't do because you're that much of a piece of shit, garbage human being that's all you have to do with your life. And then you pretend, I never did these things. We all have working brains. You might not have a working brain. Your followers might not have working brains. But over here, we're on the smart side of the internet, Mikey. This is why you're not allowed over here. We are on the smart people side of the internet. You are on the garbage human being grifter side of the internet. You can stay on your side of the internet, bro. I don't give a fuck if you grift with all the fucking grifters who never do anything. Just try to rein it in and not disturb our work. For the painful effort you're making today to address a gay con acting fake and gay. Sincerely, a gay who isn't fake and gay and hates the community. Thank you, Dragon Balls. Appreciate you as always. Yes, but remember, guys, I'm the psychotic one. I'm the one that's produced thousands of videos covering the left, archived thousands of hours of their content, teach hundreds of thousands of people a month about all this stuff, have multiple projects, multiple websites, multiple ways we're trying to get out there doing stuff. And he has nothing. which is why he has all this time to collect screenshots of me and Photoshop screenshots of me and whine about me and complain about me and harass my followers and call everyone sycophants. Mikey wishes he has followers like I have followers. Mikey wishes he has supporters like I have supporters. Also, can we just address the fact that Harlow says in his past that he thinks Frank McCormack is hot? He says that of everyone. Bro, I remember him telling Poetry Painter that she was beautiful. He says it to everyone. Literally, you're so amazing. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. Everyone. If I'm brainwashed and being lied to, it's the most realistic brainwashing I've heard of, and they say ignorance is bliss. So I'm pretty happy at the moment. Thanks so much, Karlyn. Thank you so much, Tolkien fan. I just used that beautiful mug you sent me the other day. He sent me a mug with my name on it written in Elvish. It's one of the coolest things. All right. So I've made my point, guys. I've made my point. Now we're going to go do something much more productive because unlike Mike Harlow, I don't just do drama. I do other things too. And what we're going to do is we're going to end this stream. We are done with drama stream. And we're going to go to spy stream. But this is going to be a public spy stream. So everyone can go. And I'm going to be streaming on Rumble and X as well. And we're going to go watch a live leftist organizing call. It starts in about half an hour. This is a May Day protest debrief call. So you're going to get to hear leftists talk about what they're doing next, what protests they're planning next, all that good stuff. That is going to be starting up in about half an hour. So I do thank you guys for allowing me to do a little bit of drama content because we did a spy stream earlier. We're doing another one now. Of course, we are doing a spy stream tomorrow at 2:30, I think. And if you guys want to help my grift, if you guys want to keep me in business, head over to my Substack, Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. Sign up for a membership, $8 a month, $80 a year. I really do appreciate everyone who supports the work I do. I appreciate everyone who allows me to spend my time studying the left, researching the left, breaking down the left, providing you with the best coverage of the left on the internet, providing you with the most comprehensive breakdowns and explanations for what the left is doing. Because unlike Mike Harlow and his bullshit artist friends, I'm actually going to build something productive. The same thing I've been building for years. Every time they tried to tell everyone I was a scam artist, no, it was projection all along, as it turns out. So guys, I'm going to end this stream. We're going to take a little break. We're going to go do the other one. Thank you for allowing me a day to have some fun. And we'll see you on the other side. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer. is influenced my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.